All right, hello everybody. Welcome to our beginning band and orchestra information night. My name is Bruce Dunn, and this evening is intended to help you get acquainted with the rental process at our music stores and how all of that stuff works. And I'm the band director at Covington Middle School, Silver Star Elementary, and Sunset Elementary. Again, my name is Bruce Dunn. Our orchestra director at the same schools is Reese Hertefeld. All right. One of the things that I feel very proud about is that instrumental music or music education in general gives you a long list of reasons why it's good for your child. Everything on the list that you see here: leadership, cooperation, listening, discipline, responsibility, etc. Actually, tonight I added happiness, and happiness to me is something that we need in our lives right now, particularly with our pandemic. And as I look out the window and I see all this smoke from the wildfires, there's a lot of sadness and strife, and music really fills the void that our other classes may not fill. So I feel very passionate about instrumental music and music education for kids' lives as they're growing into well-rounded human beings. So congratulations on getting your son or daughter involved in music education. There's been a lot of questions about how kids will engage throughout this year. And let me just be clear that there's nothing optimal and nothing normal about remote learning. And particularly when we talk about, how kids are going to engage. And so we're going to definitely do our best, but being together would obviously be better. So in this environment, we are going to be meeting twice a week, live via Zoom or Google Meet, depending on what your teacher says. And we will have 30 minutes of instruction twice a week. Our lessons will be using via Google Classroom as our platform. And of course, live meetings will have lessons as well. When kids learn to play their instruments via Zoom, they will mute their microphones most of the time and listen to the teacher and play along with the teacher. So that's one of the common ways that we will start to do this. And then, of course, as a way to assess them and give them feedback on their progress, we'll be using a platform called Flipgrid, which I believe that most of the elementary students are very familiar with. It's highly user-friendly for young audiences, and they can make recordings of themselves playing and submit to the teacher. So those are the big three ways that kids will engage. For the process of starting up, and I'm just going to explain in a normal year that the process of starting up instruments would be where Mr. Hertefeld and I would come and do a live demonstration at your school. This year we did that via video, and if you haven't watched it, you can check that out on Google Classroom for their homeroom teacher. There should be a little segment in there that says band or orchestra signups. Instead of, in a normal year after we do the demonstrations, we would receive back a permission slip and interview each kid and fit them, let them try some things. Since we're in a pandemic where that's not something that we can do, we're allowing kids to pick their first choice instrument. So once you've received the go-ahead from your teacher, then you're free to work on getting your instrument. And when you do get your instrument and your supplies, make sure you email the teacher so that we know that you're all set and ready to go. Now, keep in mind that string instruments come in different sizes, so you need to make sure to check with Mr. Hertefeld before you get an instrument. They have different size violins and violas for different size people. Band instruments, it doesn't work that way. It's all one size fits all. So that's not an issue for band. But you do need to have a supply list from your teacher, and that will be sent out once we have received your sign up. So things that you need, and this is sort of a general list, not a specific list. You'll need your instrument from the music store, and we highly recommend rentals, and we'll talk about that in a moment. You'll need the specific supplies based on that instrument. So if you're playing trumpet, you'll need like valve oil and slide grease and things like that. Clarinet, you'll need certain kinds of reeds and cork grease, that type of thing. All of those will be outlined in your supply letter, or your what I call a letter 2. Then you'll need a method book, and the method book is usually around $9, $8 or $9, and it's like a soft cover workbook. We would like to have kids have their own of those so that they can write in them. We will be using some supplemental materials at the beginning of the year, so they'll probably be playing on their Chromebooks for a good portion of the year. But as they move into the second part of the year and then into middle school, they'll definitely be using the method book. If you can get a folding music stand, that would be excellent. Again, those are around $10 to $15. Although at the beginning of the year, again, they're going to be reading a lot off of their Chromebooks, so those folding music stands are a little floppy for that. So I'll let you make the decision on that. We want you to attend our orientation for your instrument, and currently I have the band orientation scheduled for the week of September 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, depending on your instrument, which I'll show you in just a moment. In terms of orchestra, I'm not sure how Mr. Hertefeld is going to do that, so just stay tuned and follow any correspondence with him. And then I wrote encouragement 3 times. Encouragement, 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 where we encourage those kids to really stick with it and do a good job, because they're going to have some ups and downs, and that first sound out of their instrument is probably going to be like, not the most pleasant. But we know it's going to grow into music, so give them lots of encouragement. And they do need to practice, so between 10 to 15 minutes would be as much as I think a 5th or a 6th grader could probably do at this time, given their attention span. We don't want it to be a chore, we want it to be a fun task. So I always encourage parents to try and find ways to dangle the carrot rather than hang a consequence on it. So, but kids really will gravitate towards it if we can be as encouraging as possible. All right, now let's talk about the orientations. So the orientations are intended to teach kids the very basics, fundamentals of their instrument, just like taking care of it, even down to opening the case, putting it together, how they're going to hold their lips, or their embouchure, hand position, body position, and more. And we do this because there are so many kids involved, and that the first day of class we'll have 30 minutes on a Zoom call. Let's say everything goes perfectly. I won't be able to teach 5 flute players how to hold their instrument or push down the right button, and then 15 other people sitting there doing nothing, waiting for the instructions for trumpet, clarinet, and trombone, and then spend, so getting that first basic fundamentals out of the way at orientation will really help them so that we can do the full group instruction more effectively. So when is this going to be? So it's by instrument for band. So if you're a flute player, it's Monday the 21st. Clarinets are Tuesday the 22nd. Trumpets Wednesday the 23rd. And trombones are Thursday the 24th. And again, this should be all in your second letter. So hopefully you clicked that Google Doc link and you were able to get this material. Throw it in your calendar and get it on there. All right, the rental process. First of all, let me just say, we highly discourage eBay, Craigslist, and other online places to buy instruments. Usually those places are out to, people who are selling those are out to make a buck, and they don't really have your interests in mind. A kid starting on an instrument that is damaged but you didn't know it, might look perfect, is going to be really discouraged and probably want to quit. A student who is playing on an instrument that, let's say, is brand new, I've seen this hundreds of times, is brand new and is just inferior craftsmanship, it's not put together correctly, they're going to get really discouraged and quit. And a parent who thinks, I'm going to buy my kid a brand new instrument on eBay and it's $60 for this trumpet, and you got a $60 piece of metal that really doesn't do much. So I really encourage you to avoid some of those places and go to the music store. And I also don't encourage you to buy an instrument right off the bat. I really encourage you to rent, because if there's something down the road where we say, I don't know if clarinet's working out for you, you should try the the trombone or whatever, they can exchange those instruments just boom like that and take care of it. The music stores don't do credit checks. They do month-to-month payments. They will apply up to 12 months of your rental price towards a purchase. Now that's a really big deal because if let's say you're renting an instrument for $20 a month, and at the end of 12 months, let's see, 20 times $240. Then you have spent $240. Now, if you think about like renting an apartment, that money's gone. But when you rent an instrument, you can apply that $240 right to your purchase price of your instrument. The music stores also have professional repair facilities, which is a big deal. Do not try to repair any instrument yourself. They are very intricate and require a professional. So those music stores definitely have those repair facilities. And if you're renting, they often take care of many of those things just for free because you're renting. Insurance is generally around $5 a month, and I do recommend that because they protect against being a theft and loss or damage, all those kinds of things. They have all the supplies, they have tons of music, and they stand by their products. And just a disclaimer, I don't get anything back from music stores for referring them, except that they continue to take care of our families, which is what we want. We want them to take care of our families so that our families have good quality instruments, their kids have a great experience in music, and it's good all around. And they know that. All right, and these are our 4 main music stores in Vancouver. If you are a band person, the only one that you will not be able to go to is Kennedy Violins. Kennedy Violins services and rents only string instruments, so violin, viola, cello, bass. The other stores do everything. They do band and orchestra, and all kinds of sound equipment as well. And then since this is not a live session, email me with questions, and I'm happy to answer them for you. At this time, I'm going to open up a couple websites so you can see some of our music store rental processes. Okay, so this is beacockmusic.com, and this just going to give you a little tidbit of what's on their website. You can actually rent right on their website. You can see Group 1 includes flute, clarinet, trumpet, trombone, violin, viola, and from new all the way down to economy, depending on the size or the your budget. Cello is a little bit more in every category, and you can see you can actually rent right online. I'm not sure if they will deliver, but they do deliver to schools. They also do curbside pickup as well. This next one is rivercitymusic.us, and this is up on Mill Plain by Chuck's Produce. And you can see that their prices are pretty close to the same, maybe $1 or $2 cheaper. $2 cheaper for the new and about $1 cheaper for the fair budget price. And the last one is musicworldstores.com, and you can see the little rental tab at the top. Click that, and it should bring up there's my friend Mr. Robertson. Should bring up our pricing list. Again, this is about the same as River City, so that again, all the prices are within a few dollars. They're really close. And cello always being a little bit more, but flute, clarinet, trumpet, trombone, violin, generally in the same area. You can rent right online, like I said, in I think all 3 cases, Music World, River City, and Beacock Music. And like I said, you'll have to ask them about delivery options. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to view this presentation. I hope it has been helpful. My email is on the screen if you would like to ask me questions. And if I don't know the answer, I will do my best to find out. So I'm looking forward to a great year of making music and making connections with kids. Thanks very much.